really important to reach out to the people who care about you and say, hey, you know, I'm struggling a little. Can you come watch the baby for a minute and just let me rest?
Yeah.
Or can you come please just wash the dishes? I need the bottles washed. I can't do it. I can't face it today.
Some people don't have that support.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Some people are forced to do it on their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so
I think that really contributed to the professional restaurant.
yeah, I think that it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is true. The more alone you feel, the more likely you can kind of
You
dig
gotta be
yourself.
strong.
Mhm.
You gotta be strong in situations like that where you don't have support and you have to do everything on your own. You know what I'm saying? Because that was for me. You know, I didn't go and seek no professional help. I did it on my own, but you know, some people might, some people can't.
And I think luckily there are, here in Philadelphia, there's the respite nurseries where you can get a couple hours of break so that, if you're feeling like you're really at the end of your rope or, you just need a couple hours, you can take the babies to the respite nurseries. So if you really have no supports, you can do that. So that, because it really is important that if you are struggling and you need a break, you are able to get that break, and know that there's a network there of some sort to help you. So for you guys, who do you personally have that you might? Great.
Well, I have my sister, the father of the baby, of course. Pretty much everybody around me. My daughter, she can't wait for her sister to come so she can help.
That's great.
And I can't wait either. Because I'm putting her right to work.
My little sister too, but she's too young. She's only 9 years old.
You ain't never too young.
Ain't too young.
She'll want to help.
I'm teaching her.
Yeah, but
my
I'm not
daughter how
going
to
to
You
do
can't leave her
everything.
alone, but she'll want to hold her and rock her. And
They come in here for little things like, oh, go get the Bible.
Yeah.
And pencil the papers, pencil
Yeah.
the wax.
She be watching YouTube videos.
Yep.
She's like, you see, I'm training.
Ah!
When the real baby comes.
That's adorable.
I know.
Yeah. Babies like to help with newborn babies. They like it.
Yeah, it's like the best doll ever.
Sometimes they try to help a little too much. Like, you just gotta let it.
Yeah.
How about you?
I got my whole support system, honestly.
That's good.
I really do, and I'm blessed to actually say that because I got my whole family that's just ready for my daughter to come. I'll be like, honey, I can help her.
That's good.
Oh, no, it's the same as her.
Yeah, I got my son's father. Yeah, his family.
Okay.
My family is far.
Yeah, so mine is the same as her.
Yeah, like right now I have him and his family like here, you know what I'm saying? But like my family is in other states.
Yeah.
Good. So then we sort of covered the warning signs so you know what to look for, and the network, the folks that you can reach out to both for help and to kind of keep an eye out for you.
Take a prayer. I don't know what that is.
So I actually had my first child pretty young. I was still in high school. I was super excited about my baby though. But when she came, the excitement never went away, but she was like always crying. Like she had acid reflux, and it would be times where I had to get up and go to school the next day. It's like early in the morning. She'd probably be crying like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had to go to school. I had to get up like 5 o'clock. So while I'm, there on the bed, she's crying. I'm just sitting there crying too because I fed her. I'm really tired, ready to go back to bed, and she's not. And it was just me and her. I could have went downstairs and asked them for help, but I didn't go. I never really wanted anybody to help me with the baby, with my baby. I don't know why. I didn't never really want anybody. You was like that?
Yeah, because, it's kind of a stigma. You're young. I was young, too.
Yeah.
So it's you don't want to go ask for help because then it's they'll be right about you being too young.
I know, I told you,
Oh,
too
yeah.
young to handle this.
Yeah, I just didn't want, nobody to help me with the baby. So I was doing it by myself. I went downstairs, to make bottles, and she'd be upstairs just yelling, screaming, and crying, and I'm trying to get the bottle fast as I can. But it was my first couple months was pretty hard. Mainly because I was so young. I was still in high school. First time mom, doing it by myself, didn't want any help. And she actually ended up, she's so smart. And I did it by myself, I remember those days, man. I remember my high school days when my first, and those hard times, and to see how smart she is, and her dad didn't help me. You know what I'm saying? I really, it just makes me so happy. I still think about it to this day. My baby is so smart, and I did that.
And did it just get easier? Did the colic get better, and you just?
Well, of course, she had doctor's appointments and checkups and stuff like that. So I had to switch her milk probably 5 times. I had to switch her milk because the acid reflux was really bad. The colic, there's I think some kind of medicine. I can't remember. It was a while ago. Some kind of medicine that'll help with that. It's been a while. So, but eventually it got better as she got older. But as her being a newborn, too small to talk, and those nights where I had to. There was a night where I did ask for help. She was crying a lot, and I didn't want to get up. I didn't. She was just crying on the bed sometimes, and sometimes I did leave her to cry until she calmed down a little bit, or sometimes, till she made herself sleepy. I'll just, sit there, or I'll go into another room. But there was a time where I asked for help, and my aunt got up with the baby and walked around with her for probably 30 minutes until she calmed down and went back to sleep. But it was hardly ever any time where I asked for help. But I was depressed and stressed and crying, but I loved her so much. It was hard, but I loved her so much, and I always had her on my hip. She was always by me. It was hard, but I still had her by me.
Yeah. How long do you think it lasted?
I say probably until she was 3-4 months. Can't really actually remember, but
makes sense. And how about you? What was your experience like after your first baby?
Well, she wasn't really hard. She slept through the night really quickly, and she didn't cry much. I just didn't like being alone all the time.
With my second, though, it was easier because I had my oldest, she was 3, and her sister was a newborn, but like she would help me. But since I had my first